Hi everyone, it's Miss Mayorga. This is the video for lesson 5. If you haven't already, please make sure you have your digital notebook open and that you're logged into code.org. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to be looking at lesson 5 in this video. And just as a reminder, this is going to be lesson 5 on variables. It's a pretty short lesson, so I'm going to try and get through it in just one video. But here we go. So essential question, how can we use variables to store information in our program? And our learning objectives will be to identify a variable as a way to label and reference a value in a program, and to use variables in a program to store a piece of information that is used multiple times. So we're going to be working with variables today. For your lesson, please make sure we complete 1 through 8. Bubble 7, you'll get to choose 2 of the activities to complete, and Bubble 9 is an optional challenge. I'm not going to be grading any bubble for this lesson, but what you learn in this lesson will be assessed in future lessons. Okay, so again, code.org, lesson 5. Let's get started. Overview. Here we have an overview, kind of the same things we went over a question a day, and what we're going to do in this lesson. Let's go ahead and continue to bubble 2. So I've already made a prediction. You're going to see my answer here. But go ahead and pause the video, take a look at the code, pause the video, and make a prediction. Where do you think the circle will be drawn? All right. Okay. Hopefully you made a prediction. I know I'm showing you what I predicted here, but here we go. All right, so maybe you guessed that it would be drawn on the bottom left corner. Maybe you didn't. That's okay. Let's take a look at why that happens. So we have this new block, this purple block here in line 1, called var. This is a variable block. And the variable is called x position. And it's getting a value of 50. So anytime that that variable is used, it's going to have a value of 50. So right here, why can't I highlight stuff? Right here, sorry. I was trying to do something and it wasn't working. But right here in ellipse, you have x position for the x coordinate, and that's going to be 50. So if we look at the position, 50 and 350, and we move around our mouse, look for when x equals 50, and then when y equals 350, go down, go down, go down. It's going to be right about here. All right. Okay, go ahead and click finish. This is a video, so go ahead and pause my video, watch this video, and then come back. All right, hopefully you watched it. Bubble 4, another prediction. So this time, go ahead and look at the code that's here. Why isn't it letting me highlight? Oh well, look at the code that's here. We have 2 variables this time, x position, which in this case is 300, and a variable called what's the y, which is 100. So go ahead and predict, where is this ellipse going to appear in the space? Okay. You can pause the video, right? I'm moving on so that I don't waste time, but pause the video, make your prediction, then play the video. So hopefully you made some kind of prediction, and when you click run, you will see that your circle appears up here in the top right corner. Let's see why. So x position, that's 300, and y position, what's the y, is 100. So 300 comma 100. If you move around, 300 for the x is right here, comma 100 for the y is right there. So that's going to be the center of your circle. All right, go ahead and continue on to bubble 5. See, we're already on bubble 5 and it's only been 4 minutes. There we go. Okay. Debug, and again, you can always pause the video if I'm going too fast. Just pause the video. Debug, naming variables. This program has multiple errors caused by bad variable labels. The errors prevent the program from being viewed in block mode, so the code is in text. Below are a few rules for naming variables. Click help and tips above to read more. Okay, so here's some reminders. Whenever you come up with a name for a variable, those labels can't have any spaces. They can't start with a number. And anytime you're referring or referencing a variable, you're using a variable later on in your code, the capitalization and the spelling must be exactly the same. So do this. Find the rule each variable violates. Correct the error by picking new names that follow the rules above. If your program works well, it should draw the image on the right. You should also be able to switch back to block modes. Okay, so let's take a look at line 1. Here is the name of the variable size. What is happening? Size, it's not letting me highlight. There we go. Size of circle. What rule is this label breaking? All right, hopefully you said it's got spaces and it shouldn't have spaces. So we're going to go ahead and delete the spaces. Delete the spaces. Now, before we move on to the next one, we have to look in our code to see if this variable was being used, and we have to correct that as well. So if we look at line 6, it was being used for the width and the height of the ellipse, right? Size of circle, but now we have to delete the spaces here because it has to match exactly. Delete the space, delete the space, delete the space, delete the space. All right. Line 2, go ahead and take a look at line 2, this variable name right here. What's wrong with that? What rule is it breaking? All right, hopefully you said there's a 1 in the front at the beginning of the word, and there should be no numbers at the beginning of the label. So we're going to go ahead and just delete the 1. All right, you can put it at the end if you want to, but I'm just deleting it. And then I have to go down to line 6 and make sure that it matches exactly. So right here for the x coordinate, it's using the variable 1 dimension, but we changed that to just dimension, so we have to delete the 1. All right, almost done. Line 3, the variable label, y location, there's nothing wrong with it, right? No spaces, no numbers, we're good. The issue is when it's being used later in the program. So line 6, let's go ahead and take a look right here. For the y coordinate, it's using the variable y location, but there's something that's off right here. Can you figure it out? What is off? Hopefully you pointed out the capital Y, right? When we created the name, or when the label is created, it uses a lowercase y. So that means anytime you use that label or that variable later on in the code, it should also have a lowercase y. So delete the capital Y and replace it with a lowercase y. And now all your little, the yellow triangles and the red squares, the errors are gone, and you should be able to run the program and see a red circle. You can also change this back to block mode if you want to, right? And that'll put you back in block mode. All right, let's go ahead and click finish and move on to bubble 6. Okay, using a variable many times. This program has only one variable called petal size, but it uses it 8 different times. This makes it easy to quickly make lots of changes to how your picture is drawn. Do this. Change the number assigned to petal size so that the red petals touch one another. Try to find the size that makes the most sense. Compare your answer with the class. Okay, so click run. Right now you have 4 red petals that don't really look like petals. They're too far apart. They're not touching each other, not big enough. So go into your code. Our variable is petal size right here. We're going to change the value of this. We want to make it bigger. Right? Petal size is being used for the width and the height. Right? Petal size, petal size, petal size. These are width, these are height. So we want to make it bigger to increase the size of our petals. Go ahead and choose a number. Choose a number. All right. Some popular responses or some common responses in class were 70 for the petal size. You want to make it a little bit bigger, 75. Right? You can go more than that, but if you go too big, it starts looking like a blob. So don't get too big with this. I'm going to go ahead and do 73. I don't know. I like the way it looks. But notice how that was super easy to change all 4 petals at the same time, right? Because the variable petal size was used for width and height for all 4 petals. And you only had to change one block, the value of 1 block, which is the variable, instead of having to go in here and change all 8 parameters. Right here, you just had to change it in one location. Right? So that makes it a lot easier. All right, finish, and moving on to 7. Oh, I hope we can get this in. All right, we got 5 more minutes. So here you're going to pick 2 activities to focus on, right? 2 activities. I'm going to quickly review 2 of these, and then if you want to do the other 2, you can, but I'm going to review A and B, okay? So A, changing variable value. This program uses the variable circle size to control the width and height of a circle. if you make the circle big enough, it will fill up the entire screen, as in the picture to the right. Do this, change the value assigned to circle size so that the circle fills the entire screen. So right now if you click run, you have a circle, it's touching the edges of the screen, but it's not filling up the screen. If you look at your code, line 4, for width and height, it's using the variable circle size. So for width and height, it would be 400 right now. But that's not big enough, so we're going to go ahead and change this to a bigger number so that the circle fills up the entire screen. Go ahead and try a number and see if it works. All right, I'm going to go ahead and increase this to 500. See if it works. Still not big enough, so I'm going to go up to 600 this time. And now it's covering the entire screen. And that's it. All right, we're just seeing how we can change one number and it changes everything we need. All right, go ahead and click finish. And I'm going to do B this time. I feel like I'm going to need to cover the last bubble in this very short video. Okay. Debug. Something is wrong with the program below in which it cannot seem to create the image on the right. Can you fix it? Hint. Variable names can't have spaces. Variable names can't start with a number. Capitalization and spelling in names must be exactly the same. So we need to check variables here. Our two variables are x, lowercase, and lowercase y. So anytime x and y are being used, we have to make sure that they're lowercase because that's what it is in the variable name. Line 5. It's referring to x, but what's wrong here? It's capitalized. It should be lowercase. So go ahead and delete that capital X and type in a lowercase x. All right, line 6. It's using the variable y, but what's wrong here? Same thing. This should be a lowercase y. All right, and that's it. Go ahead and reset and run, and now you should have those show up. Don't worry if they're not showing up exactly, but that's what you should get. Okay, last bubble. 12 minutes. Okay, we can do this. All right, last bubble. Moving on to bubble 8. Using variables. And again, you can always pause the video and then catch up, right? This program currently draws a face, but the eyes are two different sizes. Change the program to use the variable for the size of both eyes and run the code to make sure both eyes are drawn at the same size. So run the program, see how it works. Here we have our big eye and a little eye. Change the program to use the eye size variable and then run the program with different values for eye size and choose your favorite size. So let's see what's going on. We have this variable called eye size. Let's see where it's being used. Line 12. Line 12, the code that creates the eyes. For one of the eyes, it's using the variable eye size to set the width and the height. That's going to be the bigger eye, 27, right? For the other eye, it's setting the width and the height to 10, exactly 10, right? That's the smaller eye. What we want to do is we want to make sure that both of the eyes are using the variable eye size for width and height. So let's go ahead and change those 10s to eye size. I, capital S, size. I, capital S, size. So now both eyes are going to be using the variable eye size to determine the width and height. Whatever that value is, that's what it's going to use. So if you reset and run, both your eyes should now be the same size. Ta-da! All right, and your final task here is to play around with the numbers and choose your favorite size for the eyes. So go ahead and choose a different number. You can go bigger, you can go smaller. I'm going to go ahead and choose 44. Let's see what that looks like. Right, so the eyes got bigger. If you go even bigger, it kind of starts looking a little weird. 70. Right, if you go way too big, it's going to cover the entire head. Right, the eyes are going to be way too big for the head. Right, you can go smaller. Instead of 27, maybe you want 15. It's up to you. All right, I think I'm going to go with 35. Right, so that's all we did. Right, we replaced this instead of 10s. We use the variable eye size. That way we only have to change one thing, and then it changes all 4 things here. Right, oops, I did something here. There we go. Okay, and that's it. So if you have any questions, message me on Schoology, but hopefully this video helps. Bye everyone. See you in class.